Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode with Ralph. Hope you're fine. Well, today we're going to cover another question in IELTS task, writing task 2. And today's essay is discussion essay. So, first of all, we will take a look at our question here. Let's see what the question is about. And then let's talk about the structure that we're going to follow. All right, this is the question. Some people like to own the place where they live, but other people like to rent where they live. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. This is very important. When the question asks about your opinion, so it's very important that you put your opinion in the essay. It can be in the first paragraph in the thesis statement, or you can include your opinion in the conclusion part. That's really up to you. So it really depends on you yourself. If you want to put it in the, let's say, thesis statement, that's okay. If you want to delay responding to the question and including your opinion up to conclusion part, either way, it's okay. All right, now what we are going to do here is that in the introduction, we always have a general statement and we have paraphrasing the question and then thesis statement. So here in the thesis statement, I'm not going to include my opinion. I'm going to include my own view and opinion about this question in the conclusion part. All right. Now, let's say that I want to say that owning a house or owning the property is more important. All right. And if I believe that owning a property is important, then in the first body paragraph, I should talk about the advantages of renting a property. And in the second body paragraph, I should talk about the advantages of owning a property. And in the conclusion, I should write about my own opinion, right? Now, let's start writing the introduction paragraph. All right, we'll start with a general statement. The debate over whether it is better to own or rent the property in which one lives is one that has strong supporters on each side. This is kind of a mixture of general statement and the question itself. Now, the next sentence is our thesis statement. There are persuasive arguments for both points of view. Now, here by this, I mean that I'm going to talk about both views, and in the conclusion part, I'm going to give my own opinion. So, first to start with the advantages of renting a property. All right, what are the advantages of renting a property? You know, the first advantage is its flexibility. So what do we mean by flexibility? It means that when the tenant wants to move out of the house, so that person or the tenant has a month a notice in advance, and in that case he has ability or he's able to find another house in a short period of time. But when someone owns a house and he wants to change the house and he wants to sell it, it would take months to sell that house. So that would waste a lot of time. And another advantage of renting is that your capital or a large amount of money is not tied up. You can invest that money somewhere else, or you can improve your quality of life. All right. So let's start writing the advantages of renting a house or a property. One of the main advantages of renting a property is flexibility. So we should expand it here. We should talk about it more. What do we mean by flexibility? Usually, a tenant only has to give a month's notice before changing where he or she lives. If a property is owned and a change is needed, the property must be put onto the market, and it is frequently a long and stressful process to get a sale completed. Sometimes the wrong time of year or a bad market can mean that a sale is not possible. This is our first advantage of renting a property. Now, what is the second advantage? Another advantage of renting is that a large amount of families' capital is not tied up in the property. So, what do we mean by this? Property can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and often a lot more. If one rents, this money can be spent on other things to help improve the family's quality of life. And if the property is on a mortgage, then the deposit, also often very large, is tied up in the property, and the pressure of having to make substantial payments every month can cause a lot of stress. This is very good. As you can see, I mentioned two advantages of renting a property and I expanded it. I talked a lot about it and tried to justify my answer. All right. Now, in the second body paragraph, I have to talk about the advantages of owning a property. And I should start with a topic sentence to mention that, all right, there are advantages. Owning a property does have various advantages, though. All right, now let's see, what are the advantages of owning a property? You know, when you take out a loan or a mortgage that you have to pay each month, this money is built up over a period of time, all right? And however, when you rent an apartment or a house, so the money is wasted and is lost to the landlord. So in this case, by taking out a mortgage, you can build up your money, and after a period of time, it can be a huge investment, right? And another advantage of owning a property is that the value of the property increases over a period of time. So it creates substantial profit over time, right? These are two main advantages of owning an apartment. Now let's start again from the beginning to write our second body paragraph. Owning a property does have various advantages, though. Even though people usually have to service a mortgage every month with payments, this money is then built up with the property. With renting, the money is lost to the landlord, but at the end of the term of the mortgage, the whole property is owned by the family. This makes the process of living in a property a type of investment. In addition, the property's value often goes up after time, frequently creating a substantial profit. Owning the property where one lives can also create a sense of well-being and self-actualization. As you can see here, when I want to write about the advantages of owning, I tried to somehow address those things that I mentioned in previous paragraph, and I talked about the disadvantages of owning an apartment or a house or a property. So here, as you can see, I tried to address those issues that I said in a previous paragraph. Why? Because overall, I believe, and my opinion is that owning a property is much better than renting a property. Now, this is what I'm going to mention and I'm going to write in conclusion paragraph. Now, let's turn to our next paragraph, which is the last paragraph and its conclusion one. In conclusion, the decision to whether one rents or owns the property in which one lives really boils down to individual preference. Again, this is the exact paraphrase of our thesis statement. Now, in the next sentence, I'm going to write about my own opinion. My opinion is that it is much more preferable to own a property, mainly because it creates a valuable asset for the family. As you can see, this is a sample band 9. I'm 100% sure that this essay will get band 9 from the examiner because I've tried to use a lot of grammatical structures, different structures, and the lexical resource is great. I've tried to use as many new words as possible. Coherence and cohesion is again followed. All right, as you can see, I've used some connective words, and also a task response. I've tried to answer the question to the point. I've included my own opinion in the concluding paragraph, and everything is perfect. So this essay will definitely get 9 band score. And that's the all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this part and it's been really helpful. If you have any questions, you can simply ask in comments. I will kindly answer all your questions. And thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it if you could just like this video and comment. And that's all for today. Until next time, enjoy your time, stay tuned, and goodbye.